If you are an intermediate musician that is completely confused and frustrated when it comes to making your melodies come alive, then this is the video that you have been searching for. Seriously, this is it. When it comes to performing a melody, you need to do way more than just play the right notes and the right rhythm. You need to interpret those notes in a way that evokes emotion and energy and keeps the listener's attention. Sounds like a really tough ask, right? Well, today I'm going to show you 10 really simple strategies to accomplish that goal. And the great news is you can apply this method to any melody or phrase that you want to play. For all of these examples, I'm going to play between just two notes. Those notes are F sharp and A. And this is going to put us in the key of D major because we are going to be playing the first two notes to the jazz classic standard Georgia on My Mind, written by Hoagy Carmichael. At the end of this tutorial, I'm going to play the melody to Georgia on My Mind and incorporate everything that we talk about in this video so that you can see exactly how it works when you're playing a melody. But wait, there's more. There is a free PDF download that has all of the examples we're going to talk about today, and you can get that PDF by clicking the link in the video description below. All right, let's get started. Our notes are F sharp to A, so the very first way that you can play it, obviously, is just as written, and that would sound like this. That is terribly boring, so let's turn up that creativity knob. We are going to do these in order of difficulty, so the very first thing you can do is just put some vibrato on that top note. So I'm going to play F sharp A, but when I play the A, I'm going to add some vibrato. It's going to soften up the note a little bit and really shape the phrase. That sounds so much nicer than the harsh sound of no vibrato on that held high A. Ugh, that note just feels like it's stabbing you. Add some vibrato. Next, we are going to scoop into that A. That's going to make it sound a little bluesier, give you a little bit more flavor on the note. Of course, I am adding vibrato on that scoop also because we don't want that A to sound harsh. Now, when it comes to scoops, you want to use them sparingly. Do not develop a case of the scoops. You do not want to scoop in and out of every note. Use your scoop sparingly. For example number 4, we are going to add a glissando in between the F sharp and the A, and that is just a fancy Italian way of saying play chromatically in between these two notes. We are going between an F sharp and an A, so that really limits our notes. We can only play a G and a G sharp in between the F sharp and the A. Now, I like to add a scoop into my glissandos. It just makes it sound like the notes are being pulled out of the bell. It's a really great sound. Makes it sound like butter. Next up, we are going to add a diatonic turn to the bottom note. Diatonic just means using the notes in the scale. So we are in the key of D, so when we do this turn, we're only going to use the notes in the D major scale. When we get into the next example, I'll talk a little bit more about a turn that is not diatonic. So for a turn, you play the target note, which in this case is F sharp. You go up a note, which is G, back to the target note, F sharp, down to the E, and then back up to the F sharp. So it kind of looks like a S. It looks like a turn. And this is what it sounds like. In the music, you can see that I added an F sharp on beat 4 and then put the turn signal, which is that S, and then I played the regular lick, which is the F sharp to the A. I did that because I wanted to do the turn on an F sharp, land on an F sharp, and then go up to an A. There are a couple different ways I could have written this out, but this seemed like the most logical way, the way that's going to make the most sense. This is what it sounds like when I play this example, example number 5. So I'm playing that F sharp, holding it for a little bit, doing the turn, landing on the F sharp, then going up to the A. If you want to dive even deeper into personalizing melodies, then I'd like to invite you to come check me out at the Scott Paddock Sax School. My intermediate pathway courses break down melodies phrase by phrase and show you exactly what you need to add to make the songs sound a lot more interesting. And I do it in a way that you can add it to pretty much any other melody that you're going to play. As you work through the courses, you are going to start to think and hear melodies in this new way. You're going to be able to effortlessly add in embellishments and personalize these melodies because that's just the way you hear music now. The more you work on it, the more natural it becomes. And when it's broken down in a step-by-step fashion, it's really easy to figure out. So you can use the material anywhere you want. If that sounds like something you're interested in checking out, there is a link in the video description below. For example number 7, we are going to add a turn to that top note. Of course, the top note is an A. And for this one, we are not going to do a diatonic turn. So we're going to start on the A. We're going to go up to a B, back down to an A, and this time we're going to go to the lower neighbor, which is a G sharp, the chromatic neighbor, meaning that's the note right next to it, the chromatic note next to it, and then land back on the A. So we're going to go A, B, A, G sharp, A. In context, this is what it sounds like. Again, I wrote 2 A's. I did that because I wanted to land on the A, do a turn, and then land on the A again. It just sounds better than if I go right into the turn. Now, you might be asking, how do I know when to do a diatonic turn or when I should add a chromatic note on that bottom note? The answer is try both, and whichever one sounds better, play that one. So here is an example of me playing the turn that I just did in example number 6. And this time I'm going to do a diatonic turn, meaning I'm going to play a G natural on the bottom instead of a G sharp. That sounds terrible. So of course I would use the G sharp there. In example number 5, if I put the chromatic note on the bottom, so instead of putting an E on the bottom, I'm going to play an F. That sounds good. Now this time I'm going to do it with an E. That sounds good too, so just decide which one you want to play. Next up, we are going to add a setup note. All that means is I'm going to play a note before I play the original phrase. So of course the original phrase is F sharp to A. I'm going to add a setup note before that. In this case, I'm going to play the root, which in the key of D, of course, would be a D. So I'm going to play a D on the and of 4 before I play the phrase. Now, if I want to take this idea to the next level, I can add in something that I've already done. I could do a scoop, I could do a turn, I could do a glissando, I could add something else into it. This is what it would sound like. So of course you can combine these ideas also. For example number 8, I am going to do another setup note. This time I'm going to start on the 5th. So I'm going to play that A and then jump up to the F sharp A. So of course the A is the 5th note in the D major scale. Now I'm going to play the setup note on the 5th, just like I did in the last example, but this time I'm going to put a turn on that setup note on the 5th, on the A. When it comes to those turns, you can do all different kinds of stuff. You can bring out the top note, you can bring out the bottom note, you can play one note longer, you can play one note shorter. You can do a note ahead, a note after. You can just do all kinds of stuff to personalize your turns. In this last example, we are going to get a lot of mileage because we are going to repeat some notes. Now, I'm starting off repeating that F sharp on the and of 3, but you could repeat the F sharp, you could repeat the A, you could change the rhythm, you could repeat both of them. You can get a whole bunch of mileage out of repeating notes. This is what the written example sounds like. This is what it sounds like if I change the rhythm. This is what it sounds like if I repeat the A. This is what it sounds like if I repeat the F sharp and the A. This is what it sounds like if I repeat the F sharp, do a turn, and then repeat the A. When it comes to repeating notes, you have a ton of possibilities. So play around with it, see what feels really natural to you, and this is a really great way to personalize your melodies. Now I'm going to play the first 8 measures of Georgia on My Mind, and I'm going to incorporate all of the stuff that we just talked about when I am playing this melody. Not just on the F sharp to A, I use those notes to demonstrate everything, but you can use these ideas and concepts all over the place. Guess what? These techniques work on any melody that you want to play. Yes, I did just play a Sabrina Carpenter song. By the way, pop songs are really boring if you don't put something on those notes when you play them. So using the techniques you learned in this tutorial when you play a pop song will go a really long way in making that melody sound interesting on a wind instrument. And that's it. 10 simple ways to unlock your creativity when it comes to playing a melody. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you'd like to dive deeper into my saxophone world, come check me out at the Scott Paddock Sax School.